Very
I
good.
can hear you. All
Very
right.
good.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Huffman. I am the founder and the CEO of Relations to Business. And today I am very, very excited. We're going to have a good time today. We're going to learn a lot of information. Today's segment um, is about um, income taxes. The topic for today is taxes update and information from the IRS. And today's guest is Miss Yvette Davis. And Miss Davis is the senior stockholder liaison for the communication and the liaison outreach fields operation. So, how are you doing today, Miss Davis?
I am wonderful, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful that you allowed me this opportunity to speak to your audience. So thank you.
Great, great, great. Today, I want to mention today topic and information is for information purposes only. We are sharing information for small business owners that they can go back and talk to their tax preparers and point out different things to help them to continue running their business. Because I know how that is, because I'm a small business owner myself. So I just thought that this would be a good chance for business owners to learn more on how to keep the business going. Because in the times that we are experiencing now, we need to know a lot to keep things going, to keep the revenue flowing. So I'm going to let you jump right into it and share this information with us.
All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen because I do have a PowerPoint here. And if you would give me permission to share my screen, Miss
Okay.
Andrea, that would be great. We can get started. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart while she's giving me those permissions. Near and dear to my heart because I started off 30 some odd years ago in collections as a revenue officer. So I've seen my share of businesses come and unfortunately go for a lack of knowledge. They just didn't know what they didn't know. They understood their business, but they didn't understand what was required by the IRS. And
Okay.
unfortunately, that seems to be the case with a lot of us, with a lot of our stakeholders. So, Patrice, if you can see my screen, I see
I
you on the
can.
screen.
I can.
I can
I
go ahead and
can.
get started.
Go right ahead. Go right
All
ahead.
right. So, yeah, so we're going to, awesome. So, I just want to share with you very quickly some tax updates for anyone and everyone as an individual, and then we'll move into some information specifically for our businesses. And I've been a senior stakeholder liaison for the past 15, 16 years. And that's just a fancy way of saying I'm a connection between you as the taxpayer and the IRS and the resources that we have to share. So again, I'm grateful to be here with you all. The first thing I wanted to share is something that I'm sure everyone already knows. The IRS has extended the filing deadline. The April 15th deadline has now been pushed to May 17th for individuals to file those 1040 returns, whatever series you're filing. Now, when I say filing a 1040 tax return, again, I always like to say that is an extension to file the tax return, not an extension to pay, first of all. And then with this extension, for those of you who may be self-employed individuals and you have to make estimated tax payments, unfortunately, that deadline is still April 15th, so that the estimated tax payments are still due. They were still due yesterday, April 15th. So hopefully you got that in. Okay. So again, this is an extension to file through May 15th, your 1040 tax return. And then if you need to, if you have a balance due on it, side note, and you did not pay that, you're going to incur a penalty and some interest if you didn't pay it, okay, on time. Let's see, next slide. I wanted to talk about, yeah, so this one talks about unemployment. So last year, a lot of folks, a lot of folks were actually had to receive unemployment because of the pandemic, the coronavirus, right? A lot of folks kind of lost their positions, they lost their jobs, and a lot of businesses closed. So we've got a lot of folks who may be new to the unemployment side of things. So what's happened recently is that the IRS has introduced a law called the American Rescue Plan, where basically 10,000 up to $10,200 of any unemployment income that you received can be excluded from your income. And basically what that looks like is for someone who made $150,000 or less, you can qualify to exclude up to $10,200 that you may have received in unemployment income. Okay, so now what that's going to look like is for those folks, for example, who may have already filed their tax returns before the IRS implemented this law, you don't have to worry about going back and filing an amended return. All you need to do is watch the mail, because the IRS is going to automatically go back in, make those adjustments. And if you are due a refund, if there's an overpayment that you paid because you paid taxes on that $10,200, they're going to send you your money back. They're going to send you a refund. And a little side note with that, if you just happen to owe taxes, you're not getting a refund. They're going to apply that to the back taxes that you owe. All right. So
Okay.
again, if you filed a tax return already and you did, and this was before they implemented this law where you can exclude up to $10,200 in unemployment income, you don't have to do anything. The IRS will automatically make those adjustments for you. Okay. The next thing I wanted to share is something that I'm sure everybody already knows a lot about, and these stimulus payments, or as we call them, economic impact payments. And then also another name, the recovery rebate credit. All right. So basically, we've issued economic payments 1, 2, and 3. The issue that what we've run into is that there are some folks who may have missed out on this because they didn't know that they could qualify for it. For example, you may have the homeless population. Those folks may qualify to receive all 3 of these economic impact payments, but because they're homeless, there's no way for us to know or to be able to reach out to them. So I'm going to put a plea out to you. If you work with an organization and you know that they serve the homeless population, there's an underserved population that they serve, and you don't think that they know about this, please pass this information on to them. And everything that I've said here today and will say, you can go to irs.gov. Again, that's www.irs.gov, and just type in keyword coronavirus, and everything that I'm telling you today about getting this economic impact payment, you'll be able to find that information there. But we just want to make sure that those folks who can actually qualify to receive these payments actually get these payments. And that includes our homeless population, or for those folks who may not have a filing requirement. Yes, you too can qualify to receive this economic impact payment. So check that out on our website, okay?
Okay.
Now, let's kind of talk a little bit about some benefits for our employers, right? There are a few tax credits for employers with employees implemented by the IRS in the last couple of years. You may have heard about the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, and that came about because, again, because of the coronavirus, the pandemic. And this basically allows employers to offer qualified sick and family leave to their employees, and they get compensation. They get a chance to hold on to those employees, and they can pay them for the time that they're out if they actually contract COVID, or if they care for a family member who contracted COVID, or if they have a child who may have been impacted and their daycare closed and they have to stay off from work because of COVID. This was implemented to help those folks maintain their jobs and also give the employers an opportunity to get a credit for doing this for their employees. Uh, so I just want to kind of put that one out there, but I want to share a little bit more information on this next credit. And this is the employee retention credit for small business owners with employees. And I don't know if you've heard about this one before. Basically, this is a fully refundable tax credit for employers. And this is something that's equal to 50% of qualified wages paid to your employees. The employee retention credit applies to those wages paid between March 12th, 2020 and January 1st, 2021. Okay, so let's look at it a little bit more with this employee retention credit. So an eligible employer is basically the anyone with that's an employer, and regardless of the size, whether you're small or larger business. And this also includes tax exempt organizations. So there are a couple of exceptions that you can see on the screen, and that those exceptions are federal, state, and local government, and any type of instrumentalities or municipalities. And then also there's an exemption that the folks who are self-employed are not eligible to receive this credit, especially, and let me qualify that, if they're self-employed for their own services and their own earnings. For example, you are and you don't have any outside employees, then you cannot give yourself this credit as an employee. Okay, so when we look at this credit, we're talking about employers who may have been impacted, whether their business was partially suspended or in many cases fully suspended by the government because of the time frame when we remember when the state of South Carolina was basically shut down. Those folks can qualify. And then for those folks have been impacted partially and they had to kind of cut back on the number of hours, they had to cut back on the number of employees, they had to cut back. For those folks who had a significant decline in their gross receipts, then those folks may qualify to get this this employee retention credit as well. And when I say significant, I'm talking about gross receipts that may have been 50% less for whatever the comparable quarter it was for the previous year. For example, if in the second quarter of 2019, your gross receipts was $10,000, then in 2020, your gross receipts dropped for that same quarter, for the same time frame, to $5,000, 50% of what it was in the previous year, then you can qualify to get this employee retention credit. Okay, and again, it's fully refundable, dollar for dollar, and it's going to reduce your federal taxes as a business. Okay, your business side, the employment tax is going to be reduced dollar for dollar. All right, so that's important for you to go back to your tax preparer and ask them, did I get a benefit for this? Do I qualify for this? Am I an eligible employer with these employees? Okay, so check in with your tax professional about that. Again, I just mentioned to calculate the credit, you basically take 50% of your qualified wages, and this is per employee. All right, the maximum that you can receive in a credit is $5,000 because the total amount of wages that qualify for this is $10,000 per employee, and 50% of that is $5,000, and that's in the entire calendar year from March through December, March 2020, March 12th, 2020 through December 2020. Okay, so that you need to go back again and talk with your tax professional. If you don't feel that you've received that, or if you're not sure, just go back and talk to them and just make sure, because this is some money laying on the table that you could actually get. And we all know that our small businesses need that boost. Okay, so hopefully that made some sense. And again, everything that I've talked about, you can go to our website, www.irs.gov, to get more information on that. The next thing I wanted to kind of move into, because we've seen a lot of issues with this, is identity theft for small businesses. Yeah. So some folks don't realize that as a small business owner, you are a prime candidate for identity theft, cyber attacks, especially our smaller businesses with 100 or fewer employees. And basically, they look for you because they don't feel that your security will be up to par, so to speak. They don't think that you know or understand how important it is for you to protect your information, your client's information, your employees' information. So they take advantage of our small businesses by trying to steal their employer identification numbers, their employees' information with the social security numbers of all their employees, even their mailing addresses, all of the information that you gather when you're hiring someone. That's what they are looking to steal so that they can recreate, all right, a W-2 in somebody else's name using a real person's information. And then they reroute any refund or anything that they would be able to get back to their bank accounts. Also, when it comes to stealing your employer identification number and creating W-2s or creating opportunities for them to get the credits that I just mentioned. They create a fake business, okay? This has happened. They create fake businesses and they use real information, your information. And the IRS is looking to you saying, hey, what's the deal with this over here? And you have no idea. So please, please, please be vigilant about protecting your information, because everything that you have is very, very valuable to someone, a cyber criminal. And they're not going to stop doing this. Why? Because it puts money in their pockets. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars in stolen money, refunds, credits that they are not entitled to. So what should you do? Protect your files, keep your security software updated. If you don't have a security software, get it, purchase it. We can't tell you which one to choose. We can't tell you where to go. You're gonna have to do some research to find out what best fits your particular business. Secure important files. Again, as I mentioned, the social security numbers, your employee identification number, those things, your tax returns, anything that you enter into a computer, make sure you've got strong passwords, multiple passwords. As it states here, multi-factor authentication is very, very important. Make sure they have to go through multiple steps to get to your information. And please change your password from password. Don't have your password as password. Okay. Um, Believe it or not, a lot of people still have their password as password. You can't, anyway. So yeah, change your password. All right. The
Good point, good
IRS's
point.
website has a lot of great tips. Yes, they have a lot of great tips, and the Federal Trade Commission has a ton of resources. And we also always refer people back to the Federal Trade Commission website as well, because they have a ton of great information and free resources that you can actually order and get. And side note, although you hopefully you've got a plan in place for a security plan, a plan that your employees understand and know, so that they'll know what to do in case they see a phony or weird looking email asking for I don't know, some type of information like a report for wages and employees' names and telephone numbers and email addresses and mailing addresses. If they get a phishing email like that, phishing, phishing email, make sure they report that to phishing at irs.gov. Everything I talked about on identity theft for you as a small business owner can be found on irs.gov. And let me just put a little side note here. If you realize that you are a victim of tax-related identity theft as a business owner,
Mhm.
Form 14039B as in business is what you're going to need to file so that the IRS can start helping you unravel all of this. Okay. So again, for business identity theft related tax ID, identity theft, please be vigilant. Make sure you pay attention. Make sure you have the conversation with your employees. Again, they send out these phishing emails and they look real. They look like they're from a friend of yours. They look like they're from a business associate. We actually had an instance where there was this scheme out there where they would send an email to the management assistant or the secretary asking for for their employees information, right? So, and it looked like the letter came from the CEO of the company, um, and the employee was Johnny on the spot, sent the information, social security numbers, mailing addresses, full names, everything. And then she got another email saying, hey, thanks for the information, Jenny. Can you put it in this format? Employee, Johnny on the spot, sent that information in that new format. And it wasn't until the next filing season that they realized they had been a victim of tax-related identity theft, because a lot of the employees came to them saying, hey, someone has already used my social security number, and they said there's a W-2 out there with my name on it, but it's not my money, it's not my income. That's when they realized, and they had multiple employees come and report this to them. And that's when they realized that what had happened. And she traced it back and realized that the person whose name was up there as the CEO had actually retired like a couple of years prior to that.
Okay.
So again, be vigilant, folks. Make sure your employees know the steps to take. Make sure you have some type of system in place for issues that may come up with identity theft, cybersecurity issues, things of that nature. It's very, very important. And keep your business information up to date. If your business moves from one location to another, complete the 8822B and update your business location. Okay, that way the IRS can always get letters and emails and things and letters to you in a timely manner, and they won't get a whole bunch of return mail. That was a little side note.
Okay.
And the next thing I wanted to talk about is the work opportunity tax credit. For some of you who are looking to hire new folks, why not consider hiring someone who may fall into this special category and get a tax credit for it? This category is for employers who hire employees who may have been unemployed for a long period of time, for employers who, for potential employees that may be veterans, okay, who may be former inmates. So this work opportunity tax credit is just a credit to encourage employers to hire those folks or workers in that particular category, just to give them an opportunity to get some good jobs, and also to give the employer who gives them a chance to get a credit for doing just that, the work opportunity tax credit.
Right,
Okay, so now listen, if your
right.
office looks like the one on the left, you we need to have a conversation. All right. Record keeping is one of the biggest barriers and issues for our small business owners to actually keep a viable, growing business. If your records look like the messy Susan on the left, you don't know what's losing you money, what's making you money, where your money might be. You have no idea what's happening in your business. So how can you sustain, maintain, and grow a business if your records are in disarray? It is not a good idea to have your office or anything relative to your business or your personal life, let's be real,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
looking
yes.
like this, all right? Everything should be in order, especially, side note, if you are randomly selected for an audit and your stuff looks like this, guess what? The likelihood of them extending the years that they're looking at, because these first 2 years that they came out there to look at are out of order, they're going to be like, wait, if 2017 and 2018 look like this, what about 2015 and 2016?
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so in order to know what's happening in your business, you really, really need to keep good records, keep things
Yes.
in order. Now on the right hand side, it looks like files. And Andrea and I already talked about this. We're paper gals, so we love
Oh,
our
yes.
paper, but the IRS will allow you to keep your records in an electronic format, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. So, and this topic, that's a whole nother conversation for a
Oh,
whole
yes.
nother day. This I wanted to share with you. This is our Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center. Everything I talked about here today, and anything you need to know as a small business owner, you can find information here from the federal government, from the IRS, what you're expected to do. Talks about business structure. It talks about whether you're an independent contractor or if you have an employee. Very, very huge topic. So a lot of information here, starting a business, maintaining a business, closing a business, things of that nature can be found at Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center. This is your hub for a business owner for information. And then the last thing I wanted to share is for you to please, 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 if you haven't already, if you've never heard of it before, we've got an electronic newsletter that we send out periodically to our small business owners. You know those tax credits I talked to you about earlier, the tax related identity theft information or issues I talked about earlier? ENews for Small Business will send you an email, an update to let you know what's happening. It'll send you emails to let you know, okay, talk to your tax professional about this potential tax credit and whether or not it applies to you. Okay, because this is what's happening. So go to our website at www.irs.gov, type in eNews or type in subscription, and sign up for eNews for small businesses. I promise you, they will not inundate you with a bunch of emails like, I don't know, Groupons. Mm, okay, so you will only get information that's relative to you from taxes for your small business. All right, and
Right.
that's my spiel.
All right, all
Back to
right,
you,
all
Miss
right, all
Patrice.
right. That was a lot. That was a lot. But it was good information. Good
That was a lot.
information.
That was a
And
lot.
the record
That was a
keeping,
lot.
I might want to get all
Yes.
over the left side. Because
Okay.
I still do paper. I have to
No.
scan my stuff now
Yes.
and put it on a disc. My daughter's like, you got to do better. So I scan it and put it on a disc, but I still have my
Got to
paper
do
and I
better.
still keep them for a certain number of years
Yes.
before I put them in the trash or destroy them or whatever.
Yes.
But I do keep
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
things. I'm still that paper gal. But I appreciate this event.
All right.
I
Me
really
too.
do, and I'm hoping to share this information with the small businesses that can help them. And also, we are looking to do more series with you to learn more on how
Yes.
small businesses can save money and also get money. So
Yes.
that is,
Yes. For
we will,
sure.
yes, we're gonna announce some dates and even maybe another format on how we can include other people to send in their questions. And so we can answer the questions and
Yes.
make sure they're on the right track. So thank you again, and I appreciate your
Yes.
time. You have any closing remarks? Hello?
In closing, I just want to say again, thank you. Yes, can you hear me? Just
I
say
can hear
thank you
you.
to Relations to Business, Andrea Huffman. I appreciate you so very much. Folks, any questions that you may have relative to federal taxes, please, please, please use that Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center that I mentioned. Go to irs.gov, register, subscribe to ENews for Small Businesses, and just don't be afraid to reach out. And stay tuned for future events, information, and we're going to keep this partnership going.
Great, great, great,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful day.
You too.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.